It is Sunday, February 23rd, and we're in the garage at Butte Gardens, and today we're doing some soil blocking. So we have a few people to help us out that are learning a little bit about how to make soil blocks, and we just started the process, so I'm going to do a little bit of repeat about what we've done so far, and then we'll get back into the process. So I use a big Rubbermaid type tank like this to do my mixing in, and this is about as much as I want to mix at a time. Some people use a concrete mixer to actually do all their mixing, and that works very well also. I haven't quite gotten very handy with that yet though, so I do it this way. So the first thing that we added was peat moss, and we added 3 10-quart buckets, and I just take a 5-gallon bucket and mark it off at 10 quarts. And we sift it through so all the chunks are broken down, and I just use let me get this, a milk crate for the sifting like this, because that's what I had on hand. And we just throw the peat moss in there because it kind of comes out of the bale in a chunk, and then push it through, sift it in so that you have smaller pieces. And then so 3 10-quart buckets of that, and then we add a little bit of limestone, just either crushed or the dolomitic lime, and that was a 1/2 cup is all. And then we added the perlite, and you can use perlite or you can use sand, and it just keeps your soil blocks from getting too compacted and too clay. And so the perlite was, how much of that did we use? 2 buckets, 2 of the 10-quart buckets of the perlite, or sand if you have sand available. And so then we just mix up, so far you just got your dry ingredients, kind of like making a cake or something. And, or actually it looks like brownies when you get done, so we do a little bit of mixing, yep. And we're going to add all the rest of the dry ingredients first though. So the next thing that we need are 3 cups of what's called the base fertilizer. So we're going to come over and, Kyle, do you have the cup? Measuring cup here? Oh, it's in here. All right, so I just use a smaller bucket, and the base fertilizer is made up of 1 cup. I guess I could let you guys do this of green sand. All right, if you wanna see this, I just use this Espoma brand because it's organic, but there are probably other ones. This one's pretty readily available in the area. So 1 cup of that, if somebody wants to pour that, and it is exactly what it says. It is green sand, and it's very fine.
Green sand.
Yes. And it's just got some real micronutrients. It's got a little bit of potash in there, and then
Potash. I always call it potash.
it could be. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Potash would make sense.
This could be like a Sturgis-ism on it. I don't say. No, I just need 1 of those. So,
oh, okay.
Yep, and then I need, and then I need 1 cup also of the blood meal. Again, just same brand, Espoma, organic, but there are lots of blood meals that you can use, and that's probably gonna be harder to pour. But just
and what is the source of the blood?
You know what? I would have to read on there, but I'm
Who cares?
assuming an animal.
Well, no, it's something
blood.
organic though. All right.
Yep, and then go ahead and dump that in, and then we use 1 cup of the azomite,
I'll just do this for you guys.
which is just very minute amounts of trace minerals. A little bit of potash again, calcium, magnesium, chlorine, and sodium, derived from a natural volcanic ash deposit. Okay, then we just mix that up, and we can get a. Yeah, that's fine. And then just go ahead and pour that into the big tub over there. And then go ahead and take the shovel and stir it all up. And then we will need 1 of the buckets, the 10-quart buckets of our soil, which is this here, just out of my garden. So wherever you can get soil that you feel is pretty good quality soil, you know, try to find something that hasn't been sprayed a lot and that sort of thing.
Did you just dig the soil up this morning?
Yeah, we did. Rick just went up with the tractor and got a bucket, partial bucket full for me. It reminded me that It is freezing, and this would have been a good thing to have done about a week ago. But I don't plan that far ahead. All right, so Ryan, if you want to grab, you'll need a shovel probably, yep. And just get that up to the 10-quart line.
Sorry.
And there's going to be a lot of chunks, so we'll have to really sift this and maybe throw some of the chunks into a different container and break them down later for a different batch.
Where are you guys from? I mean, I know you're from Eagle View.
We actually both are originally from Massachusetts.
Oh.
A little bit more.
Are you from Eagle View?
I'm from Whitehorse,
Oh, West.
where all the pretty people are from. You've been up there, I don't know.
I haven't been to Whitehorse yet.
Oh.
But now I have to go.
You have to go.
What is it near?
Greengrass, Whitehorse,
Okay,
so
yeah,
Whitehorse
it's like-
is up along
it's kind of
towards Thomas, and then
yeah.
Mulching. Have you been on the river road down there at all?
And then shake out as much of it as you can, and then we'll take out big clumps. Let's see, then we need 2 buckets of the compost mixture right here. So 2 10-quart buckets of that. Obviously, my order isn't quite efficient yet.
Next year.
Yeah. Yeah, so this particular, you could use multiple different things for your compost component. You could buy a bag of compost from your local store if you wanted to, or if you have your own compost pile, the compost that's basically at the bottom of it gets broken down into soil would be excellent. This particular stuff we're using today is mostly just rotted down hay from the bottom of a hay pile. And maybe a little bit of vegetable matter from our gardens last fall that has just broken down. Alright, and then we need 1 more bucket of the compost. When you're doing soil blocking though, you don't want to use a lot of, you want to make sure that your compost mixture isn't real high in nitrogen or manure content that hasn't processed through all the way, because seeds lots of times don't want all of that extra nutrient like that. They want just a pretty basic mix. Once you transplant out to your garden though, you can put on whatever kind of mixtures you want to mulch in out there.
Did you turn your compost in the winter, or?
Yeah, Rick does it just with the tractor because they're just open piles. They're not enclosed in anything. So you probably just go up about once or twice a month.
Okay.
It's not real frequently, but
Most of the composting action was done earlier in the year,
Right,
so it's more on the done side, but still kind of turn it. And when it gets really cold, it kind of freezes somewhat.
Yeah,
So, kind of.
that's what happens with ours. So I haven't turned it really with this winter.
so then at this point I just look over my list just to make sure that I got all of my ingredients in there. And it looks like we have, so then now we just need to mix the batch real good with the shovel, and then we'll start adding the water in. And the water, there's not a specific amount of water, it's very much, you add the water until it's the right consistency situation. Once it looks like it's mixed pretty well, you can start adding the water, and it's gonna take, I think it will take, probably at least those 2 buckets. And generally what I do is
I think we're
kind
adding both in this
of
one.
make a little,
Compost.
yeah, a little opening kind of somewhere in the middle for the water to kind of
Oh,
pool
okay. So I can start putting
into.
it in, or?
Yeah, Kyle just wants to kind of, yeah, pull aside. There you go.
We'll kind of pour it right in the dip
Yep,
here.
yep, and then you just kind of let it soak in a little bit, because with that peat moss and stuff in there, it takes it a little bit to absorb in.
Or put in the
that
whole
water.
bucket, or?
You can put in most of the bucket. We'll use at least that bucket in there, so. And then, yeah, Kyle, maybe if you want to just kind of start stirring that in. My recollection is a couple buckets that I usually put in. If, of course, if it's, the test on it as you're going is once you get all of the dry matter mixed in, then you start just taking a clump of it and seeing if it clumps in your fist. And if you get to the point where you realize you added too much water, what I've done is just let it sit for a day or so, and some of that will just evaporate off of there, and it will absorb it a little bit more. And if you really needed to, you could add in just a little bit more of the peat and the soil, and it would be all right. But